Back in late 2022, ChatGPT started to become popular. In just 2 months, it got 100 million active users. Today, it has over a billion. It's been fighting the AI wars, and it is currently winning massively. But eventually, it will lose. Why? Let's start from the beginning. OpenAI started in 2015 as a joint venture between Elon Musk and Sam Altman. They wanted to ensure that artificial general intelligence, AGI, would benefit all of humanity, not just a few billionaires. At the time, Sam Altman and Elon Musk were friends, pooling their resources to build a counterweight to Google. They promised to be transparent, share their research, and most importantly, never to seek profit. But as the models grew, so did the bill. By 2019, they realized that you can't build the future of intelligence on donations alone. They then created a capped profit subsidiary. They built a shrine to capitalism on a foundation of charity. OpenAI went from being the most transparent lab in the world to the most secretive. They stopped publishing their research, open sourcing their models, and they signed a multi-billion-dollar deal with Microsoft that effectively turned ChatGPT into a proprietary product. But then Elon Musk filed a series of lawsuits against the company he helped build. His argument was simple. OpenAI had betrayed its founding principles. He compared it to donating to a non-profit meant to save the Amazon rainforest, only to watch that it start a logging company to chop it down. By late 2025, the tension reached a boiling point. OpenAI completed its recapitalization, shifting from a non-profit-controlled entity into a public benefit corporation. While they claim this aligns their mission with their commercial success, critics, including Musk and several early employees who quit in protest, say the "open" in OpenAI is now just a marketing term. They aren't building a tool for humanity anymore. They just want to make the most money for investors. OpenAI used to enjoy complete market dominance, but due to the rise of competitors like Claude and Gemini, it's in a precarious position. You see, artificial intelligence is powered by a stack of technology. Let's start with compute, meaning the servers that the AI runs on. No matter how good an AI model is, it needs good servers to keep up. To run a single instance of GPT 5.2 Pro, you need at least 16 H100 GPUs. They cost around $40,000 each, so that's $640,000 just to run one conversation. OpenAI does not have that kind of money, so instead they partner with Microsoft. This makes them reliant on a different company, essentially making them puppets on a string. They try to use other cloud providers like Oracle, but they still owe Microsoft $130 billion in infrastructure commitments in the next 2 years.
To train ChatGPT, you need data. In the past, OpenAI got its data for free from the internet, but now they have to pay for it, and it's not cheap. They arranged a $250 million deal with News Corp, which owns Wall Street Journal and The Times, just to make sure their models have recent data. On the other hand, you have companies like Meta and Google. Every email you send, every WhatsApp message, they all use it to train their models. While OpenAI scrambles to get every bit of data they can get their hands on, tech giants host the very platforms where data is created. Already, we see the effects of this in the ChatGPT model itself. In benchmarks, it loses badly against competitors, especially Gemini. But the final nail in OpenAI's coffin is their method of distribution. Google has Android, Microsoft has Windows, and ChatGPT has an app. Even if ChatGPT was more powerful, it's just not as convenient. People can't live without Google's Gmail or Microsoft Excel, but they don't open ChatGPT unless they want to use its AI. It's just so much easier to click the Gemini or Copilot button that pops up than having to open up a new tab. Another problem is ChatGPT is losing market share, fast. It had 80% of the market in 2025. Now it has around 65%. Where did that go? Gemini. OpenAI is in code red because of this, but it's probably too late. Google has integrated Gemini into almost all of their services. Google's dominance even extends to the Apple ecosystem, where it is set to power a more chatbot-like version of Siri. If this was just 2 years ago, Apple would have no choice but to pick ChatGPT, but now their synonymity with the word AI is gone. So, how can OpenAI actually stop their decline? The simple answer, give up. Yes, you heard that right. In the world of high-stakes tech, sometimes the only way to win the war is to let someone else finish it. As of January 2026, OpenAI's valuation is around $500 billion, with some analysts predicting a $1 trillion IPO by next year. But with a projected loss of $14 billion this year alone, they are running on a treadmill that keeps getting faster. If OpenAI stops trying to be an independent giant and puts itself on the auction block, the bidding war would be the largest in human history. We aren't just talking about a few billion. It's probably going to top $700 or $800 billion. Microsoft would fight to fully own the brain it already rents. Apple would bid just to keep OpenAI's tech out of Google's hands. SoftBank, which just poured another $30 billion into the company this week, would also want a piece of the pie. By giving up their independence, the founders and early investors would walk away with more money than they'd ever know how to use. OpenAI doesn't need to win the AI war. They simply have to be the gold that the true giants would fight over. OpenAI was the spark that ignited the AI race that we are seeing today, but now they are becoming obsolete. It's a classic example of a company that innovated first, but could never survive without being taken over.
What do you think? Will ChatGPT be doomed to be the gold, or will it rise from the ashes and become its own company? Tell me in the comments below. I try to read each one.